Arsenal scraped another jammy win on Sunday, which probably relegated West Ham, kept Tottenham up and secured the Gunners their first Premier League title in 22 years. And in this video, Dino's going to pretend that was because of some good tactics by Mikel Arteta, rather than one of the worst examples of refereeing inconsistency in football history. Dino, point number one.
Yeah, excellent. Very good. Note your very subtle little West Ham badge there. And look, we will come on to the refereeing decision. Obviously, it has to be talked about. But we do have to give Mikel Arteta credit, right? I will give Nuno his credit as well. But first of all, so I've called this section Guard of Honour. Come on, cheer up. Cheer up. It's Monday and it's tactics. Come on. But look, we've got to look at it. So Martin Ødegaard, the last few weeks, I've been quite critical of. Lots of people have been quite critical of. The Arsenal fans have probably accepted that he's not in their best starting 11, and that would be an incredible thing for us to think even at the start of this season. But what happened in this game was a remarkable turn of events that went through the phases of Arteta, which was almost like, a game of top trumps where it doesn't quite work first. Keep going, keep going, make another change. And eventually he shuffled it enough that the changes work. So let's go through those first of all, and let's give Nuno some credit,
yes,
okay? So first things first is the West Ham shape. So we thought they'd play four at the back. Yep. You've watched them play four at the back the last few weeks, and they've been very good. The improvement's been stark from before Christmas. But he went back to that five at the back, which I believe he played against Manchester City in the draw at home.
You probably know better than me, Dean.
I think that's right. You might have had a couple of beers by then. But yeah, it was definitely five at the back. And what that meant from a West Ham point of view was there were two things. So it was a 5-2-3 shape almost, but then playing out from the front, playing up front on stopping Arsenal playing out, it meant that they had three players who were pressing, but they weren't really pressing.
Exactly. So you basically had, Bowen and Pablo were the most advanced, but they were going then what I call like a screen and just sort of stand in front of them and going, as we've talked about before, you know what, lads, have the ball there. Yeah. You're not going to do anything with it. Force them to go long.
Exactly that. So what that means is when Arsenal are playing the ball out, let's say they had the ball with the right centre-back, then those passing lanes are blocked by that front three. So West Ham press or don't press with that three, block those passing lanes so you cannot get the ball to Rice, Eza or Miles Lewis-Skelly in that incident. What it means for Rice and Miles Lewis-Skelly is they get split miles apart. We've talked to them in previous weeks about them being vertical and the pass going through in between them. But in this, they're dragged apart and West Ham can still pick it up. So then, if Arsenal go round the press, they go along the back four or back three as they set up and go round the other side, you think the pass goes down that right channel where Gyökeres actually wants to get it, but West Ham are still 2v1 in that area with a line of five. So the answer for Arsenal is for the wingers to get the ball to feet. But because of that five at the back shape, that allows the West Ham wing-backs to jump out of that position, knowing that they're not leaving much space in behind. There was one run, I think, Calafiori and Trossard linked up to get in behind. But then they don't leave that space in behind because you've still got your five-man back line. And it also means then you get players in the 10 position like Calafiori did, and the centre-backs can jump out from that position as well. So you're allowed to jump out of position because you've always got that five-man sort of defensive cover, if you like. So it made for a very, very difficult... Arsenal started the game well, but it made for a very, very difficult watch as the half went on.
So what I was finding really interesting, now you and I have spoken about this before, right, of how when we go to games, and we both are match-going football fans, right, where I was watching the game going, brilliant, lads, absolutely brilliant, great setup, we're stifling them, and I'm surrounded by West Ham fans going, press them, push up, play it forward, and then when the ball goes out for a throw, get it back in. I'm like, lads, we don't want to be doing that. No. We want to be stifling the game. We want it to be boring.
You to do.
Exactly that. We don't want to get overloaded. We want this to be turgid and boring and rubbish. And after that first sort of 20-minute spell where Arsenal looked quite dangerous, that's exactly what happened. And West Ham, although we were sort of camped in our own half a bit and didn't have much of the ball, we looked comfortable in defending with Arsenal having it.
Quite right, and it was two phases. So there was the mid-block where you've then got that front three who are not really pressing, like we saw Man City do to Arsenal in the Carabao Cup final. And then when Arsenal do get the ball higher up the field, it's then a low block in that shape. So there's no shame in that whatsoever. And, as we were texting back and forth yesterday, we saw that, it meant that Raya had to go long all the time. And then Mavropanos is going, thank you very much. That's what I want versus Gyökeres. I don't want to be chasing him down the channels all the time. So, yeah, it was a really, really good setup, right? So let's now focus on what Arteta did. Look, first of all, absolutely the wrong decision when Ben White went off to move the best midfielder in the Premier League, if not Europe this season, over to right back. I mean, mad decision.
Panicked.
Yeah, I think he did it because of all those things we've just identified, is that Rice was actually getting the ball a lot in the right-hand channel, even when he was in midfield.
Yep.
So I think Arteta thought he can play right back and right centre mid at the same time, but then I mean, Diouf got down the left, Somerville got down the left, and it was a bit like, no, we're a man light there. So credit to him. He changed it again at half-time, whether Calafiori was injured or not. You know, to change it again at half-time, fine. And then what happened is that shape I talked about in the first half, there's this big circle in between the midfield and defence of West Ham, the midfield and attack of West Ham, where Arsenal weren't able to get the ball. So the instruction for Zubimendi at half-time was to go and get in there and try and turn the ball out the other way.
Even though he's not a 360 player.
But that's exactly what I was going to say, because he got the ball in there, but he wasn't brave enough again. He wasn't turning in there. He was getting the ball and then almost going backwards. And West Ham, Souček and Fernandes were going, great. I'm not going to follow you in there, pal. That's all fine. And Gyökeres was getting in a really good position behind Zubimendi, as we'll show on the grab. And that's exactly what you want. You want the midfielder to get the ball in the space in the middle, turn, and then fire it straight into the striker straight away. But Zubimendi didn't do that. So they had to change again, Arsenal. And look, we know how lucky they are to have the fabulous squad that they've got, but you have to make those decisions.
You could have ended that sentence after, we know how lucky they are.
Anyway,
carry on.
But how lucky they are to have the squad that they have, right? So again, we'll go back to Ødegaard here, and I told you it was coming. We got there in the end. But it was like there was this moment around just after the hour mark where, again, fabulous grab of Arsenal in this attack shape. And there's 9 Arsenal players, 9 players around the edge of the area. And West Ham are just like, this is cool with us.
Yeah.
This is absolutely fine with us. So Arteta then, the alarm bells have gone off. He knows he's got to change it. And fair play, brave substitutions. A, to sub a sub in Zubimendi. And then B, to take off Eze and Saka when you're chasing a game is really, really brave. And so to bring on Ødegaard and Madueke, and the two of them had specific instructions, and we can show those immediately. First of all, Ødegaard, look at his match stats. In the short time he was on, the pass is forwards. The pass is forwards through the lines. And immediately as he came on, Havertz gets himself into a number 10 position and Ødegaard running in support, okay? Straight away, that was the instruction. The second thing is Madueke, wide. Do not go into the corner of that penalty area, because all you're doing is creating a traffic jam for everybody else. And even though Saka got a couple of shots away from that area before he came off, that was just too many players in there. So you can see straight away from this grab here that Madueke stays on the right, and then they're operating then. They're operating in an area where Ødegaard has got some space to attack. And where we've been critical of him earlier in the last few weeks is he hasn't always attacked that space. He hasn't gone for it. But your favourite player, Diouf, sorry, yeah, that was below the belt, wasn't it? But he gets dragged out by Madueke, holding the width, which then allows Ødegaard to attack the space. And the 1-2's underrated, I've got to be honest. This time last season, I was talking about Bukayo Saka being best 1-2 player in the world. And I think it's gone out of the game a little bit. It needs to come back, because the 1-2 between Ødegaard and Rice is absolutely sensational. Give and go into a crowded penalty area. And then also, don't underestimate at the end of that Havertz is taking a defender away so that there's this little pocket of space for Trossard to run into. And then obviously Havertz has to get out the way. They get a bit of luck there as well with a little deflection. But they make their luck by Ødegaard driving into that space. So, look, it was a hard watch. But as Arteta keeps rolling the dice, keeps going for it, eventually he finds the code that cracks West Ham. Yeah,
that's exactly what happened. It was funny, when Ødegaard come off the bench, I was in my head just thinking back to the episode we did about the Atletico Madrid first leg and thinking, brilliant, I hope we get that Ødegaard. I hope we get the confused, slightly lackadaisical Ødegaard we've seen in the last few weeks. But actually, you could tell, everything was a bit slower, but he was doing stuff sort of with purpose.
But it was slow, fast, and it was almost as if Arteta had held him on the touchline and drop kicked him onto the pitch and going, I need you now.
Yeah.
I need you. I might have not used you as my captain in the last few weeks as much as everyone, but now is your moment. And it was him and Trossard, we'll come on to in a minute, but him and Trossard who obviously made the difference and fair play. And of course, one other man who made the difference as well.
Yeah, the man with the golden glove, is it?
The
Point
man
number
with
two.
the golden glove, yeah. Shall we do it?
Well, we can.
Shall we do this incident?
Let me have this one first, Dino. You'll notice I'm in all black today, and that is a sign of mourning for the death of the standard of quality refereeing in this country, and just the death of the joy of football, really. I think I've tweaked some ligaments in my knee celebrating the goal that wasn't, and lost a £130 pair of sunglasses. We were on the floor rolling in the aisles, only for it to be ruled off, and I stormed out the ground. I haven't spoken to any of my friends I was with since. So but by all means.
Yeah, but that is point number one, isn't it? I know we're a tactics show, but this is the biggest incident in the season, so we have to go through it. Okay, so look, it's the first thing is that VAR has sucked that out of football, and that is what is so bad, is that we should be celebrating goals when goals go in, okay? And that's the first thing. It has absolutely killed it. The second thing, though, is that the reason it's so bad is because that is a foul, okay? Even
and
you can agree
I will
with
accept
that,
that
okay?
totally. Tadebo's got a hold of his shirt. Why is he doing that? He knows there's cameras.
Exactly.
Pablo's got his arm grabbing his arm. It's a foul.
Right.
Why are you doing it?
And all the other things that happen in the area at that time are redundant whilst that is going on, okay? If the ball clears that and it's Rice round the back and it's a foul round the back, then that's different. But that incident can't be gazumped until it's dealt with.
To clarify, though, that's Rice 2 hands round Mavropanos, basically rugby tackling, and Trossard.
Gabriel grabbing hold of Pablo's shirt there.
Look at Trossard. Look where the ball is and what Trossard's doing and how he's got arms round.
But point number one is that is, without any of the VAR nonsense that's gone on, that is a foul, okay? But what I want anyway, and what football fans should want, and as you say, match-going fans, is the referee to just give that as a foul immediately in the right position. But because all season, VAR has allowed these things to happen. Referees have stopped refereeing games in the penalty area. They've just let everything go. And I don't blame the referees, because at that point, they're going, well, I've got a bloke in the box who's going to do it for me. Yeah. That's human instinct. Like, if you've got, you're going to get cover for something, your actual tolerance for things will just go up. Because you think, well, if it's that bad, they're going to spot it. If that gets given first game of the season, then I don't think we're all having the same conversation. If that's given first game of the season, they give them all year, then that's fine. But the point is, there's a massive irony to this, that Arsenal have been doing this to teams all year, and it hasn't been given, and then this one is. And Arsenal fans, don't shout at me. It's a foul, okay? It's a foul. But it should never have got to that point. It should never have got to the title deciding moment that happens on a VAR screen.
But it's exactly, the point is, in the fury that West Ham fans feel this morning, again, you're right. And Mateus Fernandes, by the way, should score earlier, and we're not having this conversation. West Ham are not getting relegated because of this. It's for all the shambles earlier in the season. But and you'll have seen them on socials already, all of you guys will. There's so many already mashups.
I've seen ones at Tottenham, Villa Park, Old Trafford, Brighton,
just to clarify, of Arsenal doing exactly this sort of stuff, and other teams, but predominantly Arsenal all season. It's the inconsistency that makes fans furious.
Yeah, it is inconsistency, and as I say, first and foremost, it's a foul. However, give them all year, no one has a problem. And look, and what we should be talking about, instead of that incident with the man with the golden glove, he came to catch that, by the way, so fair play to him. David Seaman put a really good tweet out about goalkeeping, and if he goes to punch that, maybe he doesn't get the foul because he's in a completely different position, he's all over the place. Yep. But because he's gone to catch it and then the arm's gone across him, then it's a foul. But we've got to talk about the saves. I mean, there was a really good save just at the end of the first half from the diving header, which was to be honest, I think is a vastly underrated save. I think he gets a long way across, and I think there's a lot of power behind that.
It was a long way out.
Yeah, you'd hope a keeper saves it, but it's
if
still.
If he hadn't, everyone would have been like, "What the hell?"
But that's because it's Raya and the standards are so high. And again, let's show his stats for the season. Is he has won the Golden Glove, and that is a big part in them winning the title. But when you get to this stage of the season, title wins, instead of talking about VAR, title wins, we should be talking about those moments. And that moment where Fernandes goes through, I've got to be honest, I thought the world had stopped. It was like the whole world stopped for a second. And it was like, oh my goodness.
I can't relive it.
And, and I know when it stopped, you wanted to get off when the world stopped. But,
yeah.
I mean, he's got to take it earlier. Yeah, he has got to toe poke it either first time or as he sets his feet into the far corner. But David Raya, he gets himself in a position where he's small, but he gets close. And then at the moment is about to shoot, then the spread comes. The timing of that, even when you watch it in a super slow motion replay, the timing of it is sensational. So I urge you after the show, go and watch that and play it in real time again because it is stunning, absolutely stunning. And let's hope that in years to come, we're talking about the David Raya save that wins them titles, not these nonsense VAR decisions.
Absolutely. It felt very much Martinez against Kolo Muani World Cup final moment, didn't it?
Really did, yeah.
We will. I will say, though, yeah, Fernandes has got to take that first time. Yeah. And you made a very good point before we came on. If that's a centre-forward there, not a centre midfielder, he probably takes it first time it goes in.
The instinct goes in.
Yeah, basically. Absolutely. All right, so it should have been a draw, fair enough. Point number 3.
Yeah, point number 3. I mean, you get big moments again, and Gerrard had them, Lampard had them, Trossard is the one that has them. And this is, he's had a tough season. He's been, I think it's his first goal of the year, first goal of 2026 anyway, not of the season, obviously. But what I liked about Trossard and in the second half especially, and probably again an instruction in the second half from Arteta was please get in the pockets more, in between the defence and the midfield, but not wide, narrower. Because you'd think in the first half it was Trossard dragging wide and Calafiori going up that run, which they made. But West Ham then worked that out because there are 5, so you can shuffle across and block that channel. So they sorted that out. So Trossard had to find another way. And what he did was he came narrow, and 2 or 3 times before he scored, he gets the ball in a central position. Bearing in mind he's the left winger, he gets the ball in a central position, which then means he's affecting the game much more. And if he's not picking up that position, then when the 1-2 with Ødegaard happens, he's probably not central enough to be there for the shot. So it was an absolutely, plan at half-time maybe to get him more central, and then that leads to the goal. Look, they get their bit of luck, they get their deflection, they've already got their decision, but as you rightly said, very, very calmly of you, the way you put it, just about, is that's not what has meant that West Ham are still in the relegation battle.
They're
and that's
down,
not...
Dino, just
I'm
say
not going there yet because I've got to go to the Tottenham Stadium tonight and I'm not going to have it bite me. But, and that's not the reason that Arsenal have won the title. It's moments like that where they keep going and then they find a way. And be it a deflection, whoever it comes to, a squad man, a regular starter, a captain who's come off the bench, at the end of the year when you win the title, it's because you've found a way.
AI summary of that episode. Arsenal were lucky. West Ham were absolutely robbed. Thanks for watching this episode of Tactics Exposed. We'll be back as usual on Thursday for Team Talk. Like this video. Let us know what you think of what we've had to say in the comments, and we'll see you later this week.